Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, my friends. Who are you? My hope you always healthy and stay at home. And my hopefully you has take a breakfast in this morning, so you can follow our discussion today. Okay, friend. Before to continue our discussion, in the first time, we will introduce our group. My name is Fitdarlin Warugu as the first speaker, and Ravena is second speaker. Okay, we will to next or to continue to explain about our material. As we know, I am the first speaker, and this time I will explain about the introduction to linguistics. My friend, uh, the definition of linguistic. Linguistics is the science of language, and the object of study is language. Language is another word of language. A linguist is a person who is an expert in linguistics or a linguistic expert. Language is the single best means of communication that only humans have. So people who professions is related to language need to study and have knowledge of linguistics because linguistics will give us understanding of the nature and ins and outs of language. Some of the initial terms you should know. That's all about definition of linguistics. And part B is origin of linguistics. Uh, the language of the human species has been a topic of debate among scholars for several centuries. Even so, there is no general agreement on the exact date and age of human language. One of the problems that make this topic very difficult to study is the lack of direct evidence. Consequently, experts who wish to study the origin of language must draw conclusions based on other evidence such as the fossil record or archaeological evidence, temporary language diversity, language acquisition studies, and comparisons between human language and animal communication system, especially communications system other primates. In other, there is an agreement that the origin of human language is closely related to the origin of modern human behavior, but there are differences of opinion regarding the implications and the direction of the relationship between the two. That's all about origin of linguistic. And part C, object of linguistic study. Every activity and its scientific certainly has an object. Likewise, with linguistics, which takes language as its object. Since there are also other disciplines that make language a side object, it is better if we first discuss what language is so what we can understand how the linguistic approach to its object is and how it differs from other disciplines regarding the language. Number one is understanding of language. We have, okay, my friends, we know the language is an arbitrary system of sound symbol used by members of a social group to cooperate, communicate, and identify themselves. In addition, the definition of language that is widely used by people is language is a system of arbitrary spoken symbol used by members of a language communicate and interact with each other based on the culture they share. Number two is language function. Okay, in interpersonal communication, every sentence uttered has a special function. Sometimes its function is to inform, ask, or warn about a fact. In this case, the speaker expects that the interlocutor can catch or understand the function of the sentence the speaker uttered. As for briefly, the language function include language as a means of communication, language as integrity and adaptations, language as a means of social control, language as understanding oneself, language as self-expression, language as a means of understanding other people, language as a means of observing the environment. Next, language as a means of logical thinking. Language breeds intelligence, and language develops multiple intelligence. Language builds character, and finally, language develop professions. Next, thirdly, scope of linguistics. 1. Phonology. 2. Morphology. C. Syntax. And D. Semantics. Well, of course, friends are all wondering and ask about what is studied in linguistics. And to getting now linguistic in answer, in simple terms, in one science is a science that focuses on language and its use as a communication tool. Linguistics will take you to study the structure of language and all the aspects that surround it, including psychology and sociology. And next question, why is linguistics often called general linguistics? Because linguistics is often referred to as general linguistics because linguistics does not only study one language such as Japanese or Indonesian, but also studies in the intricacies of language in general. Language in from the meaning from Sanskrit is the ability humans have to communicate with other humans using signs such as words and gestures. Um, the scientific study of language is called linguistics. Okay, that's all about my explanation about introduction about linguistic and uh, as continued by Ravena, and I give time to Ravena to continue our matter.
Relationship, linguistic and sociolinguistic. Language is one of the most powerful emblems of social behavior. Sociolinguistic has become an increasingly important and popular field of study, as certain cultures around the world expand their communication based and intergroup and interpersonal relations take on escalating significance. The basic notion underlying sociolinguistics is quick sample language as symbolically represent fundamental dimension of social behavior and human interaction. The notion is simple, but the way in which language reflects behavior can often be complex and subtle. Furthermore, the relationship between language and society a friend, a wide range of encounter from the boundary beside international relation to narrowly defined interpersonal relationship.